Admiral Kira Thorne stood on the bridge of the Unbroken, her flagship, watching 100 vessels move in perfect formation through the void. The neural interface at the base of her skull pulsed with data streams from every ship under her command. Around her wrists, beneath the formal military dress, faint scars remained, permanent reminders of the shackles she'd worn for the first 16 years of her life. "Admiral, the hegemony delegation has arrived," her second-in-command, Captain Reeves, announced. "They're requesting permission to board." "Granted. Have them escorted to Conference Room 1. Kira's voice carried the quiet authority of someone who'd learned that true power never needed to shout. The hegemony had ruled this sector for 3 centuries, their empire built on the backs of countless slaves across dozens of worlds. Today, they came seeking an alliance with the Free Human Fleet, the very force that had shattered their slave operations in 7 systems. Lord Executor Zarvesh entered the conference room with his typical swagger, his crystalline form refracting light in patterns meant to intimidate lesser beings. He stopped short when he saw Kira waiting at the head of the table, her posture relaxed but ready. "You!" he hissed, recognition flashing across his features. "Slave designation K? 7741. You were property of House Veshtar." "I was," Kira acknowledged, pouring herself water with steady hands. 23 years ago. You have an excellent memory, Lord Executor. I remember you too. You enjoyed using the neural whip during inspections." Zarvesh's form flickered with discomfort. "The past is regrettable. We've come to discuss the future. The hegemony offers terms." "No." Kira's interruption was soft but final. "You misunderstand why you're here. You're not offering terms. You're receiving them." She gestured, and the conference room's walls transformed into displays showing the current tactical situation. Red dots. Hegemony forces were surrounded by blue ones. Her fleet. "Your border defenses fell 40 minutes ago," Kira explained conversationally. "Your reserve fleet is trapped in a gravity well near Proxima Station. Your supply lines have been cut at 17 critical junctions. You came here thinking you still had power to negotiate. You don't." Zarvesh's crystalline form darkened. "How?" "Our military intelligence showed no major fleet movements." "Your military intelligence relies on traditional thinking," Kira smiled. "Large formations, direct approaches, conventional warfare. But I learned strategy in the mining tunnels of Kepler 442b, organizing slave rebellions with nothing but stolen tools and desperation. I learned tactics by watching overseer patrol patterns, finding gaps in what seemed like perfect surveillance. I learned leadership by keeping hope alive in workers who had nothing left to lose." She stood, walking to the tactical display. "Every freed slave in my fleet knows how to be invisible, because visibility meant death. We know how to make do with scraps, because that's all we ever had. We understand sacrifice because we've seen what happens when you don't fight back. The hegemony has resources," Zarvesh began. "Built by our hands," Kira cut him off. "Maintained by our blood. Every advantage you think you have, we created. And more importantly, we know every weakness, every blind spot, every vulnerability. Because we were forced to work around them every day of our captivity." Captain Reeves handed her a data pad. "Admiral, Operation Liberation is ready on your command." Kira reviewed it briefly, then fixed Zarvesh with a stare that had once defied overseers despite promised punishment. "Here are the Free Fleet's terms. Complete abolition of slavery across all hegemony worlds. Immediate release of all current slaves. Reparations to be paid from your house treasuries. Your acceptance of human observers on every world to ensure compliance. And if we refuse? Then you'll learn what 100,000 freed slaves can do with warships instead of mining equipment," Kira said simply. "Every person in my fleet volunteered for this moment. Not for pay, not for glory, but for the chance to ensure no child is ever born in chains again." She touched the scars on her wrists. "I spent 16 years believing I was nothing but property, worth only what I could dig from rock. Then humans taught me a different truth, that every person has intrinsic worth, that freedom is a right, not a privilege. Today, that philosophy commands the most powerful fleet in the sector. Zarvesh's form shifted, calculating odds. Around him, former slaves stood at every station, their competence undeniable. The girl he'd once whipped for moving too slowly now commanded enough firepower to end his civilization. "We accept your terms," he said finally. "Wise choice," Kira nodded. "Captain Reeves will provide the detailed requirements. You have 72 hours to begin implementation." As the hegemony delegation filed out, Reeves turned to his admiral. "Think they'll actually comply?" Kira watched the stars through the viewport, each point of light representing a world where children might now grow up free. "They will, because they finally understand what we've always known. Chains can only hold the body. They can never bind the human spirit." She opened a fleet-wide channel. "All ships, this is Admiral Thorne. Today, the chains begin breaking. Tomorrow, we ensure they're never reforged." 100 ships acknowledged in unison, crewed by those who'd turned their scars into strength, their suffering into strategy, their chains into change.